The words on the thick white folder felt unreal, almost cruel, as the single father stood frozen in the marble lobby of a Manhattan high-rise, his hands shaking from exhaustion and hunger. "I will pay you $2 million if you read this document." The building smelled of polish and money, the kind of place where people like him were usually invisible. Yet somehow, on that cold winter morning, a man with worn shoes, tired eyes, and a child's backpack slung over one shoulder had been handed an offer that could either change his life forever or humiliate him beyond repair. He had no idea that before the sun set, a billionaire would be sitting in stunned silence because of what this broken man carried not just in his hands, but in his heart. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment to pause. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion to change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them most. The man's name was Michael Carter, a 38-year-old single father living in a cramped basement apartment in Queens, New York. His life had not always looked like this. Years earlier, he had been a skilled construction safety inspector, respected and reliable, proud of the honest way he earned his living. But life had cracked open in a way he never saw coming. His wife, Hannah, a gentle soul with a tired smile and an unshakable faith, had fallen ill suddenly. The medical bills piled up faster than his paychecks, and when she passed away, the grief took something from him that never fully returned. What remained was his 7-year-old son, Noah, a bright boy with curious eyes who still believed his father could fix anything. After Hannah's death, Michael's world unraveled quietly, the way real tragedies often do. He missed deadlines, showed up late, forgot details. One mistake on a job site led to a serious accident, and even though the investigation proved it wasn't entirely his fault, the company let him go to protect itself. Without steady income, rent became impossible, and the apartment they once shared filled with laughter was replaced by that cold basement room. Michael took any work he could find, cleaning offices at night, unloading trucks before dawn, always arranging his schedule around Noah's school. Pride slowly dissolved into survival. The document entered his life on the worst day he could remember. Noah had been sent home early from school with a fever, and Michael had missed a cleaning shift to care for him. The landlord had warned him already, and eviction was no longer a threat but a countdown. Desperate, Michael answered a vague online listing promising temporary work for a confidential reading assignment at a financial firm downtown. It sounded ridiculous, almost like a scam, but desperation makes room for strange hopes. That was how he ended up in the towering building, surrounded by polished stone and sharp suits. A young assistant, barely meeting his eyes, handed him the folder and told him to wait. Michael sat down, staring at the bold promise on the cover. $2 million was a number so large it felt fictional, like something from a movie his son might watch. He assumed there had to be a trick. Maybe they wanted to test him, to mock him, or to record his reaction. Still, he opened the folder. Inside was not legal jargon or financial charts, but a personal document written in simple language. It was a confession of sorts, detailing the life of a man named Jonathan Whitmore, one of the most powerful billionaires in the country. The pages spoke of childhood poverty in rural Ohio, of a mother who worked 3 jobs and still lost the house, of a boy who learned early that money meant safety. It spoke of ambition that turned into obsession, of success that came at the cost of relationships, compassion, and peace. Most painfully, it described a single decision made decades earlier, a choice that indirectly ruined another family's life, a choice Jonathan Whitmore had buried under layers of wealth and public image. As Michael read, something unexpected happened. He didn't see a billionaire, he saw a frightened boy trying to outrun his past. The words stirred memories of his own fears, his own regrets, and the nights he lay awake wondering if he had failed Noah the way his father had failed him. His eyes burned, but he kept reading slowly and carefully, as if the document mattered, as if the man who wrote it deserved to be understood. When he finished, an assistant led him into a private office overlooking the city. Jonathan Whitmore sat behind a wide desk, older than his magazine covers suggested, his eyes sharp but tired. He studied Michael not with arrogance but with curiosity, as though this ordinary man held answers he had searched for in boardrooms and retreats. Michael was asked to summarize what he had read, not as a report, but as a reflection. Michael spoke from a place he rarely accessed anymore. He talked about fear masquerading as strength, about success becoming a shield against guilt, about how money could build walls so high that even the person inside forgot what was missing. He spoke about forgiveness not as a gift for the guilty, but as freedom for the broken. He admitted that he was no expert, just a father who had lost almost everything, but he believed that people were more than their worst decisions. The room went silent. Jonathan Whitmore leaned back, his confident posture softening. No one had ever spoken to him like that, not honestly, not without wanting something in return. He had expected analysis, maybe flattery, maybe confusion. What he received instead was empathy from a man with nothing left to prove. Jonathan revealed then that the document was a test, not of intelligence, but of heart. For years he had searched for someone who could read his story without judgment. Someone who could see him not as a billionaire, but as a human being. Lawyers, executives, and consultants had all failed in different ways. Michael had not. The $2 million was real, but it was never meant to buy silence or loyalty. It was meant to reward understanding. More than that, Jonathan offered Michael a role in a new foundation he was quietly building, one focused on supporting single parents, job retraining, and families crushed by medical debt. Jonathan admitted that Michael's story mirrored the consequences of his own past actions more closely than he cared to admit. Michael walked out of that building in a daze. The city looked different, brighter, louder, alive. The weight he had carried for years did not disappear instantly, but it shifted. For the first time since Hannah's death, he felt seen not as a failure, but as a man who still mattered. The money changed his life in practical ways. Noah moved into a small but sunlit apartment near his school. Medical bills were paid, debts erased, and nights once filled with fear were replaced by quiet relief. But what changed Michael most was the work. At the foundation, he met parents like himself. People one paycheck away from disaster. People who didn't need pity but opportunity. His lived experience became his greatest qualification. Jonathan Whitmore changed too. Slowly, deliberately, he stepped back from the spotlight, redirecting resources toward repair rather than expansion. He never publicly spoke about the document or the test, but those close to him noticed the difference. He listened more. He gave without needing recognition. In private moments, he admitted that a single father with nothing had given him something no amount of money ever could. As years passed, Michael would sometimes think back to that folder, to the impossible promise written on its cover. He realized the true reward had not been the money, but the reminder that dignity survives even in the harshest circumstances, that being poor did not mean being small, and that compassion could travel upward just as power often traveled down. If this story has begun to touch something inside you, please stay with it until the end. Stories like this remind us that hope often arrives in unexpected forms, through ordinary people who choose empathy over bitterness. On a quiet evening, as Michael helped Noah with homework at the kitchen table, he understood something profound. The document had changed two lives, not because of what it offered, but because of how it was read. Carefully, honestly, with heart. Before this story ends, I ask you one special thing. Please comment below with a single word that represents what this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. And now, as the final moments settle, if this story moved you even a little, if it reminded you that humanity still exists in unlikely places, please like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive, and somewhere out there, someone is waiting to hear one just like this.